Hi, everybody. I think I'm recording here. It's Mrs. Alexander with my weird throat and voice today. I'm going to go over our first lesson for Module 4 in the Practice and Homework Journal, and we've been working on writing numerical expressions. So hopefully in your head you're thinking about what that means. We're working with numbers and operation symbols here. We do not put an equal sign because it's not an equation. We're just trying to write out how we might solve these situations. So here we go. Number 1, the situation says, one small airplane has 44 seats. The flight crew sits in 2 of these seats. The remaining seats are divided equally into 7 rows for passengers. Explain how you would write a numerical expression to model the number of seats in each passenger row. So I'm going to go through like we normally do. I'm going to find all the values, whether they are numbers or number words, and I'm going to circle them all. And we are explaining how we would write a numerical expression to model the number of seats in each passenger row. So I've got my number words and my numbers. We're talking about a small airplane with seats. The flight crew, I think it's important that they sit in 2 of those seats. And then the rest of the seats are divided equally into 7 rows for passengers. So the number of seats in each passenger row is the number of seats for the passengers. So if we have 2 members of the flight crew that are sitting in those 44 seats, the first thing we would have to do is we would have to take the 44 seats and subtract the 2 that the flight crew are sitting in because the rows are just for the passengers. Then after we do that, we would need to take the rest of those, whatever the difference is, and divide it equally into rows. So because we need to find this difference first, as we've talked about in class, I'm going to put that in parentheses so that it stays in a group together. And then once I find that difference or that answer, then I would divide it into those 7 equal rows. So that would be our numerical expression. And the explanation would be that we would first need to take out the 2 seats that the flight crew are sitting in. And then we would take the remaining seats and divide them equally. And it says right there, the remaining seats. That might have been something I boxed as well. Okay, hopefully you were able to follow along. You guys have been doing a great job in class on these and really well with IXL. So let's see what happens next. It says, excuse me, Masha is training for a marathon. She is doing tempo runs to increase her speed. In tempo runs, a runner varies their pace during the run. Masha jogs 1 mile, then runs at a fast pace for 11 miles. She finishes by walking 2 miles to cool down. Write a numerical expression to model the number of miles Masha runs, walks, or jogs. I wonder if I said her name different each time I read it. I'm not sure how you say that name. So,
wow, you guys are amazing. These pumpkins are fabulous.
oh,
If you have not turned a pumpkin in yet, please
you're talking about our pumpkins for the contest.
Also, please,
If your raisins haven't voted yet, make sure they vote. Online, Facebook.
if you haven't already. Thank you.
All right, so sorry for that interruption. I'm going to go through again. I'm going to circle the numbers that I see. There were no number words. So we're looking to model the number of miles that she walks, runs, or jogs. All right, let's see what's important here. She jogs 1 mile, then runs at a fast pace for 11 miles, and she finishes by walking 2 miles to cool down. So if I'm modeling the number of miles that she's running, walking, and jogging, I'm really just going to find the total for those miles. So I would simply take a 1 mile that she jogs, and I would add the 11 miles that she runs, and then she's going to cool down for 2 miles. And that would simply be a numerical expression for addition, and we would be able to find the miles that she runs, walks, or jogs. Okay, see if my voice can make it through one more. Write a numerical expression to model the words. Subtract 1 from the product of 4 and 5. So you notice I kind of broke apart those instructions. Subtract 1 from the product of 4 and 5. I've talked in class that sometimes there's a specific order that we have to do things, especially in subtraction. But if it says subtract 1, I always like to write subtract 1, and then I know from the product, I know that that has to come before my subtract 1, because subtract 1 has to stay together. And if I'm going to subtract it from the product of 4 and 5, I know product is multiplication. Now, I'm finding that product, so I'm going to put it in parentheses. Even though we've talked about order of operations, say what? Order of operations says we would do multiplication first, but if I'm going to find the product, I'm going to go ahead and put it in those parentheses, even though order of operations would tell me to go ahead and do this multiplying first and then subtract the 1. All right, for the last one, I have assigned the video through the Math Company website, the HMH Math. If you go through your Clever account, I think we have done that before in class. I think you'll be able to find this video that I've assigned on that math website. If not, it's okay. You can give it a try on your own, and we can watch that video at school or go over it together. And those are our problems for this lesson. The back of this page has a little bit of test prep. So to get ready for this test, make sure you give these a try and see how you do. If you would like to check your answers, let me go ahead. I haven't shown this before, but I guess it couldn't hurt to. I'm going to ask that you don't watch this part until after you've tried these test prep questions, just to see how you would do if you were taking these as a test. So it says write a numerical expression to model the words 60, divide 60 by 5, divide 60 by 5. And that would be our answer right there. Which of the following can be modeled by the numerical expression? The difference of 16 and 4 divided by 2. It says select all that apply. So that means to me that there's probably going to be more than one right answer. So the difference between 16 and 4 divided by 2. So the first one says subtract 4 from 16 and then divide the difference by 2. So let me look back. Does this say subtract 4 from 16 and then divide the difference by 2? That is a good choice right there. The next one says find the difference of 16 and the quotient of 4 and 2. Find the difference of 16 and the quotient of 4 and 2. That would mean that the quotient of 4 and 2, that would mean I would need to be dividing 4 by 2. And because I have the parentheses here, that is not a good choice for that one. I'm going to put an X there. Divide 16 by the difference of 4 and 2. Well, I am dividing and finding a difference in this problem, but I'm not dividing 16 by the difference of 4 and 2. So that is not a good choice. Divide the difference of 16 and 4 by 2. Okay, now they've changed this around. So I'm going to divide the difference of 16 and 4 by 2. So here is the difference of 16 and 4, and I am going to divide it by 2. That's a good choice. Subtract the quotient of 4 and 2 from 16. So we would be subtracting from 16. I can kind of use my cubing work for these as well to show what stays together. Would I be subtracting a quotient from 16? No, I'm not doing that there. Excuse me. So the two choices are A and D for number 6. Which numerical expression models the following words? Multiply 2 by the sum of 4 and 8. So that means I would have to find the sum and multiply it by 2. So here, I'm not finding the sum first. Order of operations would tell me to multiply first here, so that would be a product. Here, in my parentheses, I'm finding a product and then adding 8, so that's not going to work. Here, I'm finding the sum of 8 and 4 and then multiplying by 2. That's a good one. Let's make sure. Here, I'm finding the product of 2 and 4 and then adding 8. So C would be the best choice there. Write a numerical expression to model the words. Divide 10 by the difference of 5 and 3. So the difference of 5 and 3, those words tell me to do 5 minus 3, and then I'm going to divide 10 by that difference. So I'm going to write it looking as I've just shown. All right, the bottom is spiral review, a little division practice that you can do on your own. That is not part of our next test. Hopefully those are, hopefully you're able to do those. All right, friends, thank you for your attention. Go back and try to see if you can find the video for number 4. Let me know if you find it and are able to watch it or not. There can be some Eagle Bucks awarded for people who let me know if they were able to watch the video or not. All right, I'll see you next time in class. Bye, guys.